The X-Men are one of my favorite comic book groups ever. They transcend comics for me, and the stories told in their books have changed me greatly. They have made comics one of my favorite mediums. On the other hand, I'm also a pretty big fashion guy. Clothes are probably one of the best ways to express yourself and have always been very beautiful to me. So today, I want to detail what I think every X-Men character would wear outside of their traditional X-Men suits. When I say every, I mean as many as I can do until I give up. Starting with Cyclops, the very first recruit of Professor X. Now, Cyclops is a funny character. Not only did he possibly have the worst movie adaptation, he also had a girlfriend that was his girlfriend's clone and had a baby with that girlfriend, and then proceeded to leave the clone, Madeline Pryor, and the baby. However, despite all this, Cyclops is still one of my favorite characters in the X-Men, and despite some really bad movie adaptations, he has some really cool animated show adaptations like X-Men Evolutions and X-Men 97. Now, for what he would wear, we can really go two ways with this. It just depends on his age, because in X-Men 97, he dresses like the late 30s, early 40s white dad. While I think this is perfectly in character, Cyclops can also pull off more of a laid-back vibe like in X-Men Evolution, which is one of my favorite representations of him, by the way. Like, he's just so fucking cool in that show. I don't know what to say. So I'm going to say for the older version of Cyclops, I suggest two brands. The first of which most people probably saw coming in Polo Ralph Lauren. Polo just fits the Boy Scout archetype of Scott, and he would most definitely rock one of those mesh polo tees and one of them khaki shorts that old people love. Cyclops in Evolution would definitely wear like a V-neck sweater and a shirt inside it with some khakis. Oh man, this nigga, he loves his khakis. Next is Iceman, who him, Beast, and some other characters are kind of hard to do because Iceman doesn't really spend much time outside of his ice form, and Beast is kind of like never wearing a shirt and, you know, shit like that. With Iceman, though, he's normally always on the younger side and has a really cool personality and is overall a very cool character. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that again. But as for what he would wear outside of his ice form, probably like a bandana and some Nike shorts and like a blue t-shirt or like a wife beater. Honestly, it can interchange. Angel is one of those characters I really don't know the adjectives for. He's just cold as hell. He can be kind of a dork sometimes, but overall he's so cool. Alex Ross has some really cool depictions of him, and I think he obviously needs some type of cloak or coat so he can cover his huge ass wings. So for this, I have multiple candidates, which are as follows: the Venema double-breasted coat, the lightweight coat from Lemaire, and the form coat from Megaslada. Now, before anyone asks, Angel's wings are pretty big, are you sure they're gonna be able to hide them? I don't care. Not at all. Jean Grey would most definitely wear Vivienne Westwood. Like, for sure. At least for the scarf she wears, for sure. I kind of see her more in the way X-Men Evolution portrayed her, but maybe that's because I really grew up on that show more than anything else. And Vivienne Westwood for Jean just feels right and perfectly contrasts the interesting yet boring way Scott dresses. She would probably also wear some Sax Pot jeans. And you might be asking, why Sax Pot? Why Sax Pot? And to that, I say, because I like Sax Pot. Beast's best character design, in my opinion, is either his appearance in Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely's New X-Men, or just his normal appearance where he just has some shorts on. To fit the latter, though, the shorts might just be some Nike Pros, to be honest. I don't really know. Just some athletic ones, to be honest. However, for the former, man, I don't even know. Probably some like Amiris or Subis, because the pants are tight as shit, and he might have like a stupid helmet lang jacket or something. Nightcrawler is one of my favorite X-Men ever. If you grew up and didn't want to be Nightcrawler, I don't know what you were doing. He is just so cool to me and just overall very special and dear to me. And I'm going to slightly headcanon here and assume he doesn't mind rocking designer. So my number one brand that he would wear is quite easily Bottega Veneta. They just give off the same vibe, and I think he would really shine in some of their pieces for me. And it's just a match made in heaven. Some pieces like the white insulated jacket, the brown graphic sweater, and the puddle boots, of course, which on a whole other note, I've wanted for so long, and I'm definitely going to get some. And now you might say, why don't you pick a German-based brand for Nightcrawler? Because, he's German. And to that I say, Joe Sanders is a good backup, and I'm pretty sure that's German-based. So there you go. Wolverine is very interesting for the reason that he's always kind of wearing a different version of the same outfit whenever he's not in a suit. But it works, so I'm not really complaining. Wolverine's brown and tan suit is also his best suit, by the way. I'm not taking any opinions on that. Logan normally wears a leather jacket, a wife beater, jeans, and a belt. And now I think for that specific outfit, I would say this Acne Studios brown jacket, these Levi jeans, a diesel belt, and my favorite addition, because I think it would be hilarious, is the NVR tank top. Just imagine it before you get mad, please. Storm is hard, to be honest, because most of the time she has the same look and her outfit is very catered to her, so I can't really imagine her in anything else. She would definitely wear pieces from like Balenciaga or like Alexander Wang or Adidas. Balenciaga for Storm just kind of makes sense to me. She would dress like this with no questions asked. And Alexander Wang pretty much for the same reason as Balenciaga, but the clothes here are a little more outlandish for Storm, I guess, but would still look pretty great. And as for more casual clothing, that's where Adidas comes in. Colossus deadass doesn't even wear clothes, for real. Like, he doesn't really wear clothes. I guess he has some like undies on, so we can guess that, I think. Just give him some fucking Balenciaga underpants and call it a day. If anything could be large enough to fit him, though, it would definitely be some Venema. Give him some black cargos and like a specially made I Heart X-Men hoodie, and boom, he'll be up there with everyone else. Next is Kitty Pryde, who has had some really good looks over the years, but my favorite is easily the Marauder Red King pirate look, for sure. This Vivienne Westwood look from 1981 fall collection is what I would like to imagine her sail in. One thing about me is I love collars, and I think Kitty would most definitely rock some. My favorite guess is she dresses like a college dropout graduation era Kanye. Personally, that's my headcanon. Like, can you not imagine her in a pink polo? Thank you. I'm glad you agree. Rogue is one of the coolest members of the X-Men, and I feel like her best adaptation is, again, most definitely X-Men Evolution. But to be completely fair, I watched Evolution when I was a kid, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever, so I'm just a little biased here. But as for what she would wear, I think Josephine Noten would fit her wavering aesthetic from classic to Evolution. Van Noten is one of my favorite designers, and I think that some of his pieces are just perfect for Rogue. Magneto is the definition of cold. One of the best villains, that's in air quotes, ever, and I'm glad X-Men 97 is showing some people that. As for what he would wear on a day-to-day basis, I would say Magneto would definitely love like Lacoste or like Louis Vuitton. Lacoste, just for the same reason as Cyclops has polo, they just really accompany their aesthetic, if that's what you want to call it. And Louis Vuitton if he ever just feels fancy. Gambit is one of my favorite X-Men when it comes to fashion. In 97, he wears this really cool crop top, and if you have a problem with that, please unsubscribe, I beg of you. And I would like to base his fashion off of that. However, him being from New Orleans also prompts me to have some of his outfits based off of New Orleans icon Lil Wayne. So why not do a cross between them both? I would personally love to see him in some baggy Avisus and Bapes. As for the top, it could switch between a crop top like in 97 or like a Y3 coat. Jubilee made me realize one thing about the X-Men. They're gonna wear a fucking coat every single time. Personally, for Jubilee, I think a perfect fit for her when it comes to something similar to her iconic yellow coat would be this yellow Montclair Adidas jacket. Me personally, I think it would fit her. I think it'd be really cool if she wore it in like Jim Lee's X-Men. I think it'd be so cool. And for some bottoms, probably some like APC Diana shorts. I don't really know. It doesn't really matter. Just some shorts, to be honest. Cable has literally worn the same outfit for like 30 years. He's like, it's the same fuck ass 90s costume. And don't get me wrong, they are nice. They are nice costumes, but man, no diversity at all. Personally, for buff niggas like Cable, you kind of have to resort to a wife beater as your main piece of clothing. Like maybe like a XXXXXXXXXL biker jacket, possibly. Depends on the weather, but for the bottoms, I was stuck. So I'm just gonna cop out and say some like triple large Rick Owens shorts or some just huge athletic shorts. Those are all the X-Men I could do without losing my mind. So that's why I'm gonna end this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.